Hello. There's quite a lot of myths surrounding electric vehicles, and I've owned one for over 2 years. One of the biggest is the cost of insurance, and I'll tell you what my latest quote is in a couple of minutes, and I'll also tell you, because it will be the fourth insurance, because I'll be coming up to 3 years of ownership later on this year, and I checked it early on today to see what it was going to be. And I'll tell you what that is in a minute, and I think you're going to be pretty surprised. But first of all, some of the other myths is, one of the big ones is you have to be wealthy to own an EV. And if you look at the used prices in the UK, if you maybe look at Auto Trader or even eBay, you'll see what the prices are. And they've come down a fantastic amount, a huge amount. I mean, when I bought the Tesla, back in 2021, there was very little difference between the used price and a new price, only a few thousand, and it just wasn't worth buying one a year old with 5,000 miles done, because there was so little, it was so tiny. Now there's a big difference. And I think in the case of Tesla, you don't need to worry about 100,000 miles. But psychologically, like me, you'll probably think, well, if you're going to get used, try and get something 40, 50, 60, or even less if you can. But I think with an electric vehicle, 100,000 miles is nothing, because there are so many who have done 400,000 miles on the same battery, so you don't need to worry. My Tesla is the only car that I've ever bought that was new. I had new company cars, which I didn't pay for, and I always use used cars. And depreciation, people tell you, is very high, and it has been recently. If you sell, I'm not planning on selling my car every 2 or 3 years. I'm going to keep going with this one. So I don't think you have to be rich to afford an electric vehicle. You have to be rich to fill it up at, what is it, £6.57, £8 a gallon or more. I know a lot of people talk in litres. I'm a little bit out of date here. I charge in the early hours of the morning, and so I'm paying 9p a kilowatt hour, and some people pay even less than that. And it works out at £1 a gallon, or in litres, 20p a gallon. And in US, that's going to be what? 30 cents a litre, $1.20 per gallon. So I can't afford the petrol and gas for my car, but I can afford an electric vehicle. So anyway, I think that's a big myth. Can you afford to run a nice car? Not so much can you afford an EV, can you afford to run it? But there are so many myths. Another one is that you have to have your own garage. Well, it probably helps, but millions of people don't, and they manage fine without having their own garage. Another person told me, you're not a car enthusiast if you've got an EV. Well, listen, I love the Jaguar E-Type. I think it's the best car ever made. There were so many wonderful old cars, some people even making them electric. I had an MG, always made me smile, but I didn't have one when I was young, because I couldn't afford it when I was young. I bought it when I was older and retired. Just a £2,000 MGTF. My first ever car was a Ford Anglia. Yes, I'm a big car enthusiastic, and I've been driving for 50 years, and that was in gas, petrol, and it's only in the last 2 years I've been driving electric. So, you know, it's a nonsense, this age thing. There are a lot of people my age that don't feel the same way, but having driven one, and if you look at any of the comments, and I hope you do comment down below, you'll see that all the positive views about electric vehicles are from people who own them, and 99% of the negative views of electric vehicles are from people that haven't, who've heard an opinion, they've seen something in a certain newspaper, some negative items, and there are so many. One of the biggest myths is insurance, because A lot of people will say, oh, I couldn't afford it, it's way too expensive. But of course, if you base it on your previous car, of a lower performance and older age, then of course it's going to be more. I've just done another check to see what the price would be if I renewed my insurance. Now, it's not due till September, but I've got the prices. The very first time I insured my Tesla Model 3 in September 2021, the price was £378. It was quite a lot. For me, I thought that was quite a lot. My previous car was an Audi A3, and clearly nothing like the performance. The following year, from 378, it went down to 355 in September 2022. 2023, when I renewed it last September, yeah, there had been lots of car park fires that they thought may have been an electric vehicle, but it turned out it was a nice vehicle. And that price, it went up to £568. And people were telling me how expensive insurance was, and you just couldn't afford it. You know, I mean, yes, I'm not 18, I don't drive like an idiot, and I've got lots and lots of no claims bonus, and I like to shop around. Obviously, that's important to me, shopping around. And I looked on the site, and the price was £406. Now that is pretty damn low. So it seems to me that every other year the price goes down. So it started off and it went down the first year, 378 to 355, and the price was £406. Now that is pretty damn low. So it seems to me that every other year the price goes down. Which is brilliant, and I think that the insurance companies have got sensible. I'm glad to say they're not no longer charging ridiculous amounts when it turned out that some of the bad fires have been caused by ICE vehicles. Often it can be an electrical fault in an ICE vehicle, but some journalists don't know the difference between an electrical fault and an electric vehicle. But anyhow, so I've had the EV for 2.5 years, not going back to an ICE vehicle. It's quite unthinkable. I love the clean air that I breathe when I'm around it, and I don't like the idea of obnoxious, poisonous fumes. There's nothing green about driving an electric vehicle. Walking is green, or cycling is green, although bikes have to be made and shoes have to be made. But in comparison, I'm not claiming that driving an electric vehicle is green. It's just a bit better. I'm surrounded by wind turbines, and my energy I get is from wind power and not from coal stations. So I'm very pleased with that. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you can like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. And don't forget, if you can remember, to get one of these reusable coffee mugs, that you don't need any of those plastic cups. And thanks very much for joining me. See you next time. Drive safely. Bye.